Dream catching. The big friendly giant put the suitcase on the ground. He bent down low so that his enormous face was close to Sophie's. From now on, we is keeping as still as winky little mice, he whispered. Sophie nodded. The misty vapor the misty vapor swirled around her. It made her cheeks damp and left dewdrops in her hair. The BFG opened the suitcase and took out several empty glass jars. He set them ready on the ground with their screw tops removed. Then he stood up every stride. His head was now high up in the swirling mist, and it kept disappearing, then appearing again. He was holding the long net in his right hand. Sophie, staring upwards, saw through the mist that his colossal ears were beginning to swivel out from his head. They began waving gently to and fro. Suddenly the BFG pounced. He leaped high in the air and swung the net through the mist with a great swishing sweep of his arm. Got him, he cried. A jar, a jar! Quick, quick, quick! Sophie picked up a jar and held it up too carefully. He tipped something absolutely invisible from the net into the jar. He dropped the net and swiftly clapped one hand over the jar. The top, he whispered. The jar top, quick! Sophie picked up the screw top and handed it to him. He screwed it on tight and the jar was closed. The BFG was very excited. He held the jar close to one ear and listened intently. It's a wink squiffler, he whispered, with a trill in his voice. It's even better. It's a piss wizard. It's a golden piss wizard. Sophie stared at him. Oh my, he said, holding the jar in front of him. This will be giving some little toddler a very happy night when I is blowing it in. Is it really a good one? Sophie asked. A good one, he cried. It's a golden piss wizard. It is not often I is getting one of these. He handed the jar to Sophie and said, Please be still as a starfish now. I is thinking there may be a whole swarm of piss wizards up here today. And do kindly stop breathing. You was terribly noisy down there. I haven't moved a muscle, Sophie said. Then don't, the BFG answered sharply. Once again he stood up, tail in the mist, holding his net at the ready. Then came the long silence, the waiting, the listening, and at last, with surprising suddenness, came the leap and the swish of the net. Another jar, he cried. Quick, quick, quick! When the second dream was safely in the jar and the top was screwed down, the BFG held it to his ear. Oh no, he cried. Oh mince my muggets. Oh wipe my swoggles. What's the matter? Sophie asked. It's a troggle humper, he shouted. His voice was filled with fury and anguish. Oh, save our souls, he cried. Deliver us from wheels. The devil is dancing on my dibbler.